Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. And today we've got Carlos from Masterblox, and cryptonaut turned architect. Let's dive in. Carlos from Masterblox, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, my friend. All good here, enjoying the Rio de Janeiro sun. Can't complain.
Yeah, I can tell. You have a hell of a view there.
Yes. Actually, a marvelous day. We're here for Blockchain Rio.
Absolutely.
We're heading there after the podcast. We are doing some expansion here to Brazil. Well, we're Portuguese, so it's a natural choice. But let's see what the future waits for us.
Okay, so take things back with me for a second. So you're in the blockchain world, and you're here representing Masterblox. What is Masterblox? What's it all about?
So Masterblox, I'm the founder, and it's a Web3 accelerator. Meaning we have a whole ecosystem within the company that accelerate relationships between big chains and VC funds, market makers, like everything that you can imagine in Web3. But also we have the Masterblox Labs, which is a one-stop shop for Web3 marketing, dedicated marketing just for Web3, growth hacking, Twitter writing, PR, stuff like that. So the both of them combined create like this marvelous thing that we've come to see the light, that is the accelerator. So yeah, in essence, Masterblox is an accelerator. Of course, we have like some juicy surprises in the roadmap. We're planning on launching our token probably next year. We are not rushing because the business model is solid. We can deep dive on that later. But yeah, today we're announcing an official acceleration program with Tron. We will do the same with Chainlink, and it's no surprise. It's no secret now, but we kept it in secret for a little bit of time. So yeah, that is us.
Okay, so you have those like pre-existing relationships with certain chains, which is obviously really helpful for any new project developing, right? Because if you're doing anything that's sort of worth its salt in this space, then you're doing something new, and you'll probably need the support of those guys. So that I think makes sense, and something I commend you on. But if you had to sort of say what your most important USP was an accelerator, like what makes Masterblox different really from every other accelerator out there?
Well, first of all, we come for strong traditional backgrounds, financial and marketing, right? So in one side, foundation, and Masterblox Foundation, it's like the part of the acceleration programs, and Masterblox likes of the marketing. So we combine the true traditional methods, but with the Web3 mind. We are built like anyone else. Unless you're 21, you are not built into this technology, right? Blockchain technology. So in essence, answer to your question, we are strong traditional people that are fully, completely devoted to Web3. That's like what makes us like unique, and also being Portuguese.
Okay, so being Portuguese is awesome. Can't sort of shoot that down, right? But I think more importantly, you mentioned that you come from a traditional financial and marketing background, and I've been in this space for a long time now, and what I can see is that most people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about because they can't really relate what's happening in Web3 to the traditional corporate world, right? So tell us a little bit about your personal background and about how you feel it gives you a specific advantage in the accelerator sphere.
Yeah, in general, because I'm also like an advisor as an individual, but look, in general is what I advise. What I tell myself is what I tell others, right? It's like practice what I think and what I think is right. In general, I believe like when you're launching a token, it needs to be taken care as when you're launching an IPO. You're going to public markets, you're messing with other people's money, you are doing something for, I hope it's for the greater good, but in general, it's a public, your company is going public, right? But speaking about myself, I graduated in architecture in 2015 or something like that. I didn't like it, by the way, but it gave me some skills in marketing. I developed like graphic design skills and stuff like that. So, I always consider myself a creative person and actually not a logistical one. But then I developed like a passion for traditional finance and trading options in this case. and combining creativity with like logical mathematic understanding. I believe it came. I developed like a set of tools, a really useful set of tools, which apply to blockchain. It's of course creativity is like key, but also understanding the mechanics of the parallel economy that we live in. So basically what I'm trying to say here is like acknowledging that we need to understand a lot from the traditional world, because like traditional finance has been here for 400 years since the tulip era, and I mean trading and stuff like that. So it's not like Web3 is reinventing. I mean, it's reinventing everything, but it's not like, as we say in Portugal, reinventing the wheel. I mean, it's there's a lot of stuff that needs to be acknowledging from the past and not being bridged into Web3. That's the whole mission about it, you know. But of course, there's beautiful things that Web3 like brought to the day of light, and it's unique. Not like, I mean, inspired, yes, but like unique in Web3.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know, for some reason I was just thinking about you as a sort of Liam Neeson of blockchain, right? Like a very unique set of tools.
I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, no.
I took that from the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about that. One of my favorite.
No, I love it. We all take our things from somewhere, right? So it's like it's fine. It's fine. I love the link.
Somebody like gets my taken the taken quote.
I get it. I'm with you. Okay, so you've clearly in the space, you have a very unique perspective, a very unique background. You figured out the whole trading thing, which is something I think that's a bit of a unicorn goal. Very few people manage, and you seem to have done so, which is great. So when talk to me about your evaluation methods, like when you look at a new project that you want to support, what are the sort of key factors that you look for as that make you want to back this thing?
Sure. So for me, there are like tangible metrics, which is deliverables, and non-tangible, which I'll explain. So as of tangible, you need to look at the basic stuff that everybody looks at: white paper, pitch deck, etc. Communities, which were like actually specialized on growing those. I mean, the roadmap, the ideas in general, and this is when the thing can get non-tangible. I mean, how do you evaluate like an exponential creative idea, right? I mean, first of all, if you have like a cash flow business, like a business model, which is something people don't understand because they think it's just about launching the token, you are missing out the basic, which is like a cash flow generating idea, because it's a business in the end. Or not, it can be a technology, but like in the end, I think it will eventually become a business. But also, this is where the network part comes from. We are a huge space with millions and billions of people, but at the same time, it's a really close network, right? So it's about like verification of trust with other partners, like huge partners. Again, I don't care about like when people speaks about individuals, because a lot of people, there's hate and pride everywhere. But instead, I believe that like people that are already proven themselves, huge partners, vouch for others. It's totally like 90% of the whole thing, because this is like how due diligence made between parties. It's really important, and it's how it's evolved. So yes, in essence, the basic deliverables, innovation. I always take into consideration market situations, because, for example, everybody shits now on play to earn, but what if like 1 year and a half ago, right? It's not, and so market situations now focusing on solutions, social fi, KYC protocols, stuff like that, liquidity providers, stuff like that. So financial solutions, because I mean I'm biased, because I love when somebody comes up with a decentralized ETF or like an options trading platform or something new when the traditional finance bridge in the Web3, I'm boom. So as any other human, I'm biased for the things I love, but that doesn't mean that I don't consider other projects with things that I don't know for sure. When they get to, for example, decentralized cloud security, stuff like that, I'm not a developer, but I love the concept. So I dive deep to understand more, because nobody here in the space knows everything about any area, right?
Yeah, and that's I think the most pertinent point of the day, right? Anytime I ever meet someone that's a sort of self-proclaimed blockchain expert, my ears just go up, or either go up and start to listen a little more, or just completely shut off and just say this person's a waste of my time, because, like you're saying, it's such a vast space that you cannot be an expert in everything.
And also, I don't believe there are no DeFi experts. There are DeFi professionals, which is very different. Even CZ, or like high profile people like him, they are DeFi professionals and enthusiasts and evangelists, or how they call themselves. But it's an emerging technology. It's like DeFi is like 4 years old and Bitcoin is like 13 years old. So you cannot say that you are like an expert in everything. I mean, you can know more than others, but like doesn't make you an expert, because I think there are so many answers that there are not questions that are not answered yet. So you cannot be like when the internet came public like in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Who was like an internet expert? Who knew we're going to be here? You in Malta, me in Rio, speaking through a computer. Like it was like a sci-fi movie, right? So I consider we the ones that do, you on the VC fund side, me on the acceleration and investor relationship side, whatever, and advisory. We are DeFi professionals because we do this for a living. We only live for this. I mean, at least me, but I believe you too. So we are professionals, but I don't think anybody is an expert. And if they call themselves an expert, do your math.
Exactly. But to your point, I think that's one of the things that makes the space so beautiful, right? Is that it touches so many different areas of expertise, and it's poised to change our lives in so many different ways that, by its very nature, it requires a multitude of professionals from different walks of life to be able to come together and work together and create something tangible, and that's what makes it so beautiful. On the flip side, and I don't at all disagree with your strategy, right? Like you're absolutely right when saying that when deciding on which company to invest in, right? Who they work with, who their partners are, is extremely important. It's just almost kind of ironic, and I completely agree with that. It's just almost kind of ironic how whether or not money flows into trustless technology is dependent on trust itself.
I mean,
which is really interesting.
It's your promise. It's like the. I believe. I mean, there's no logistic and no formulas to balance this, right? But again, I was not all my life like a mathematical, logical person. I mean, I had a metal band. That was my dream, to be a metal musician. And Iron Maiden and everything. So.
I love it.
Yeah, my tattoos are more about like songs. So creativity is a big part of my life, if not the biggest one. That's what I'm passionate about, like being creative. But I believe that you need to be also creative when analyzing, doing analysis on a project. So is this technology going to change the world or bring something new? Yes or no? And if it does, how achievable it is? I mean, I heard yesterday that there's going to be like a new technology that you can wire Bitcoin with radio frequency. Beautiful. No internet needed. It can work perfectly in the remote sides of the world where Wi-Fi doesn't exist. So yes, I mean, but how achievable is it, right? Beautiful. The whole story with zero knowledge EVM and like validating Ethereum transactions instead of like mining it. Beautiful again. How achievable? The merge. Arguably, it can be like shutting down the internet for seconds because everything's basically backed by Ethereum in the EVM, right? So there are some things that are really beautiful, but how achievable, right? And then of course there are things that are just useless. Like personally, I hate this. The first, I mean, and people doesn't realize it. It depends on the geos as well. I mean, it depends on how the adoption was in the country. I see in Brazil, for example, is still really frenzy with NFTs. and tokenization. Like everything here, they want to tokenize commodities, tokenize buildings, tokenize everything, which is something that is like, it feels old, but like it's 1 year ago. But I mean, it depends on the adoption of the country, right?
Exactly, and also it's I think one of the reasons why it's so difficult to sort of verify authenticity in this space is just because there's so much ambiguity around what the possibilities of the technology like actually are, right? So if someone came to you in the 90s and said, hey, listen, you know, there's this awesome tech we're building called the internet, and one day you're going to be able to order food through a device which you hold in your hand, and you can have it cooked by somebody which you've never met, and you can pay them with money you've never held, and you can have it delivered by someone you've never met, straight just with a couple of clicks. You'd have never believed them, right? But and that same sort of problem applies nowadays, right? It's there's so much possibility. It's just figuring out what's real and what's not becomes sort of difficult. So I guess moving on to the next question is, what are your biggest red flags when it comes to choosing a project?
So first of all, the team, the ideas, the person behind the team. It's easy to see when they're like cash grabbing or focused on hype, or they need to have a balance between blockchain understandings and traditional mechanics, right? Doesn't matter what it is. It can be art, can be entertainment, can be like traditional development, whatever. So you need to be actually committed. For example, this vape here is like the Dan Bilzerian brand, right? So if somebody comes like, oh, I'm going to build a vape that you can earn tokens while you buy the vapes. Why? I mean, doesn't matter. You just can use just like a payment crypto method, like you trust, and you are done, right? You don't need to put like Web3 into everything. So see, like watching that they are really committed, you know, and why, how, and when. Those are like the three questions I would ask. And this is not like a guideline that I have in my head. I just cannot like how, when. I don't even know how to repeat them as well. So yes.
No. Of course. Like it's like it's a genuine approach to sort of bullshit filtering, right? Which if you're in this industry, you need to be a master at. And it's what's so scary is that that even vets have a tough time with it, and even vets make mistakes, right? So no matter how much experience you have in this space, you'll always make a bunch of mistakes in this space. So can you share with us perhaps like I don't know, one of your greatest mistakes that's to a great lesson?
Mistakes. We incubated like a technology that was like the first NFT technology for Instagram, and it sounds juicy. It sounds really well done. But then we completely forgot the major part, which is they were relying on one of the biggest players of the world's API, which is Meta. Back then, probably still Facebook, right? So, I mean, what are the odds? I mean, if they unplug them, boom. And if Meta wants to replicate their technology, boom, they have the IP rights, they have everything. I mean, you can even say Instagram without their blessing, right? So they were like just fetching data from an oracle for Instagram. So, of course, Meta didn't take long like to put the word out like yes, we are doing NFTs for Instagram. So of course they got crushed, killed, dead, right? But in the heat of the moment, you tend to ignore these basic things, and this one was actually a really tangible one on the API. I mean, and I think as any other people, I mean, I can tell you another personal mistake: Anchor protocol. I was really a big fan of Luna, although I knew it in my brain that like was too good to be true. I mean, the ecosystem was beautiful. Luna, I thought it had like a marvelous model with the token board automated system. Then you had like Mirror protocol that brought like really traditional finance solutions like stocks trading, and was borrowing money on Anchor protocol. And on top of all of this beautiful cake, you had like a little cherry called UST. So, and then I was like, in Anchor protocol, really happy. The API was like high but sustainable, like 46% API, all good. But of course, everything collapsed because they were really relying on a big player like Citadel, and they were messing with algorithmic trading, and you don't fuck with those, like huge hedge funds in the United States, right? So the whole ecosystem of Terra collapsed, and I mean, personally, I was like completely blind about it. Thankfully, when I saw a little decrease on USD, I was like, oh shit, it's gonna depeg, it's gonna go to zero. So I saved myself, and I could save some friends, but as you know, the story didn't end well for the vast majority of people. Nonetheless, I was really upset because I was like, man, it was so obvious. I mean, not obvious, but like, it was like a product of the bull market. With worse market situations, it was completely unsustainable. And as I said, like these four players, Mirror, Anchor, Terra, and UST, same ecosystem. Terra was like cool, but I mean, it was like a walking on thin ice.
Nobody can like we said, right? Nobody can get it right 100% of the time. I know some very, very smart people that also backed Terra and lost some money in MAUSD. I think what's important is that you have the mental fortitude and you're humble enough to be able to sort of realize the mistake and move on and take that forward into your future investments. And that's exactly how you get better, right?
I mean, you can arguably say that it's like just to avoid crying and shit like that, but what I see, because I got robbed in NFTs as well. I mean, I'm not ashamed to be, well, it was actually so sophisticated. I was actually impressed. I was not that angry by the hackers because it was really sophisticated. But I mean, when you're robbed like $10,000 in a day, you are angry as fuck, right? So I thought like, okay, let me put it this way. It's the most expensive lesson of my life. It's like a 15-minute lesson of like doing due diligence and not doing FOMO, right? So think about it. So you can spend like $7,000 to be like in a blockchain course for like 1 year in some online course, something like that. But with $10,000, you learn a lesson you will tell your grandkids. So, I mean, look at the bright side. I mean, it's, I think, of course, there was like mental fortitude excuse somehow. But I mean, it's how I see it. Expensive lessons.
Yeah, expensive lessons. But life is a cruel teacher. No, she gives you the test first and the lesson afterwards. But
it's what you do with the lessons, right? It's not about like crying, because I mean, of course, you need to go. I mean, if you're speaking about like what happened to me with the hack, I went after that to revert the transaction in Etherscan. I spoke with my homies in Hacken, top cybersecurity. There was nothing to be done, right? So in that case, just embrace it and move forward. So if there's nothing you can do, embrace, learn, and just move forward. Otherwise, why crying about it? But same happens a lot in a daily basis with mistakes. I used to have like a bad temper, and like for pride, like I used to like sometimes drown some deals because I'm really, really proud. I'm still, but like I know how to handle things better. And sometimes you even develop greater relationships when things start bad because you see the worst part of the person. So then you can move forward. And yes, it's a constant evolution, and it's maturity in business and in life, I guess.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom from Carlos from Masterblox. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely enjoyed the chat.
I'll see you in Malta.
Likewise. Definitely. Have a great day, man.
Thank you, brother.